You have it. You have it. You have it. You have it. Too fast. You have it. Too fast. One moment, please. One moment. One moment.
Others, I speak with a passion that goes unheard. They obey you because you are a leader. And perhaps with others, I speak with a passion.
So, episode 3 of Raid Buff.
Welcome. Akea here with
Tannison.
And it's pretty much a week since we last recorded, so that's good. We're on track.
Yeah, I think, has it been a week fully? Almost?
It's been like a week and a couple days since we recorded.
I don't remember. I thought we did that on a Sunday, but now I remember you had work.
Yeah. Well, maybe just time flies when you're just having so much fun.
Yeah. So much fun.
Not sleeping.
Oh, man.
Okay, so the end of last episode, we talked about our progress that we were going to hold ourselves to for the game dev. And before we get into what our actual progress was, I think we can pretty much announce what the idea is, what the concept is, what the tentative title is. No harm in that.
Yeah, I think we're committed to it at a point now to where we're not going to change our mind on a different game, so we can do it.
All right. Well, do you want the honors?
Oh, you came up with it.
Okay, well, Vampire Janitor, tentative name of the game. And then the concept is, I don't really know what the style of game is called. Cozy is what it seems, but
I thought it was going to be a little bit more fast-paced and cozy. As you can tell, we've got to have some creative meetings, but
we definitely do.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like an arcadey, go around and clean stuff around the vampire's lair or manor or
and I
castle.
think we are on the same page about that. Like, for me, I'm picturing single screen, and you're just moving around the screen, cleaning up the mess that a vampire makes each night.
Yes, and in my thoughts of that was different levels. So level 1, you just have to clean up a couple things, pretty easy and simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kicker is during this time, there's basically a timer, whether that's a time on the wall or the sun.
Or just the sun. Because you wake up in the morning when the
Vampires
sun's
asleep.
rising. Yeah, and it's your time to clean, and you need to get it done before the sun sets.
Yeah, because vampire wakes up, they see a messy thing, they're pretty,
mean?
Yeah, they're pretty mean, but also, they like things neat in their manner. So, you don't get the job done in time, you're done for.
Super done for.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was more of an arcade type thing than a cozy type thing. But, we'll see as progress develops. We'll see what we like. We'll see what is fun.
Yeah. And I forgot the name of the game because it came out so long ago that almost 10 years now. But there's a similar game that my friend pointed me to, which is you clean up a space station after some things, crazy things happen there.
Yeah. It's sci-fi janitor or a cleaner or something like
that. Yeah. But like I said,
but it's 3D. It's 3D. It's a different setting.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at some gameplay. It's pretty ridiculously gory.
Oh, it's super gory. They have a disclaimer about it, and it's like Doom, but if you were cleaning instead of killing, which I think is kind of the point of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think based on the gameplay I saw, you actually see some experiments going awry and people dying.
Yeesh.
You're picking up limbs and putting them in disposal and stuff. So
yeah.
So
same concept, high level, but not really going to be the same execution at all. I don't think we'll be 3D.
It'll be pretty different. We're going 2D. Art style undecided. Probably pixel art, but we'll see how far we get in that. And then, we're going to have some nice gothic, themes.
Dark academia.
Dark
gothic,
academia.
Medieval.
So, overall, we just got to, make level 1, see how we can make it fun, and build off that, I think.
Yeah. And so you have done a good amount in Godot since last time. You said you were going to work on... Well, here's what you said you're going to work on last time. Lighting, level transition, flooring art, and simple animation. Where are you at?
Lighting, I feel like I did before last episode, but the level transition, got that squared away. Maybe not to the level that will be effective for the game, because it's just a simple level transition right now. I don't know how hard it is to carry over, like, inventory or whatever progress has happened through the level transition. I'm sure I can figure that out. Small animation, I haven't done that at all.
You did do flooring art.
I did some flooring art.
A couple different styles I saw.
Yeah, I built a prototype, or I guess drew a prototype of what like the tutorial level might look like, as far as the style goes, and I was pretty satisfied with it. I think if I bump it up to maybe a little bit more detailed than what it is, I could do that. But overall, as far as style of the environment, I think it's working out.
What'd you use to draw?
I just use my iPad for the free app Resprite. It's just been the simplest so far for like low res pixels. Like I think I did that one in 64 by 64, or was it 32 by 32? Something like that, because it just makes that really simple. There are some things about that program I don't really like as much, so I'm still open to exploring different ones. Which I think brings us to one of your tasks.
Yes, was to research more art programs, but we had kind of a conversation during the week where we're like, let's just use some free assets that kind of already exist for a while, and then we'll cross the art bridge when we get to it. So I started prioritizing a lot of other things besides looking into art. And
really hammering those too.
Tried. Well, the pods are published. So
that's really crazy. We already got to listen.
Yeah, we got 3 total listens, which is, I love it.
That's like 3 times more than I thought.
Seriously though, someone is like spending time listening to us talk about this is kind of nuts, but I dig it.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
The YouTube is also up, and so hopefully, Libsyn is what I'm using for the podcast hosting, and it's intuitive, but sometimes I come up to something that I can't do without looking up how to do it or what a step means online. And one of those things is, we have 2 episodes up already. Then I created the YouTube channel and connected it. Where and when are they going to put those 2 episodes up? Or are they not going to because they only do it for future posted episodes? I don't know. I can't find a good enough answer. Also because they have like their Libsyn 5.0. So all of their like knowledge base is for the old version, and that's kind of frustrating.
Documentation.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very important. And that'll be something for the game. It's like...
Yeah, I've already come across some Godot documentation that's like... It's not really documentation, actually. It's more like tutorials, or if you Google it, people will be like, oh, do this, do that. Using AI, too. They have older versions of Godot.
Yeah.
And so it's not 100% like the accurate answer. I have to kind of like convert it to the current version.
It's frustrating. And
it does take a little bit more time, yeah.
Libsyn specifically, they updated their entire user interface. It seemed like the old one was pretty clunky. And yes, the new one is not clunky, but like I said, can't find the answers I'm looking for half the time. So, not fun.
But overall, goal achieved. We're out there.
Yeah.
People are, for some reason, listening. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you so much. Oh, well, we are still in spooky season.
Yeah, we are. And,
Great theme for the game. Also, we've been looking at a lot of decor as we go to, like, Target and other places where you just walk around and you look at the decor they have for spooky season, and or at least this is what I've been doing, I kind of try and get like the vibes, quote unquote, of what we could eventually include for the game. Not that we're going to like have a bunch of skulls and spiders everywhere, but I like
you're supposed to clean those things.
But it's a good time to be starting this idea because there's a lot of inspiration around, I guess, is ultimately what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had planned to possibly go to a pumpkin patch. I don't really know where we are on that. Just seems like we don't have time. But it does seem fun.
Yeah. I know that they charged for pumpkin patches when I was young because we used to go to one pumpkin patch every year and they charged to get in. But there were also haunted houses on the property, hayride, a whole bunch of other things that were included in the price of buying the ticket. But I don't know what's wrong with society nowadays where we would have to buy the ticket and then buy other like carnival-esque tickets to do a whole bunch of other things in the pumpkin patch. And the kids just really not old enough to appreciate that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's really disappointing because it seems like growing up, they would get most of their revenue from those rides and food and fun, you know, but now it's like you can't even like buy the tickets at the pumpkin patch. It says like you have to buy it online before. Otherwise, sorry. Like, what is this? Have we just like amassed way too many people who like pumpkin patches?
Or does everything cost as soon as you step out your front door?
Because they know people will pay it, though. That's the thing.
Well, we're not. So I'm getting my $18+. Well, we did watch Van Helsing.
We did. That was research. We qualified that under research. We had it on our task board for the game.
It was. I'd seen it when it came out because I like those kind of movies, the cheesy Universal monster movies. But you hadn't seen it.
No.
So what was your impression?
It was fun. It was excellent in my opinion because of the Universal monsters and just like the over the top like this is exactly what it needed to be. It was monsters and it was action. So I was satisfied. Obviously, you get the whatever year that was, early 2000 CG. A bit of cheesiness there, but overall, it was what it was supposed to be, and I thought it was an entertaining movie.
As a young person, and now I still love Dracula's wives. They're my favorite part. They were always my favorite part of the movie. Their costuming, the way the actresses move, especially the redheaded one. She just like really sells being Dracula's wife, and I really love that.
Yeah. And when they're in bat form, is that what they were in?
Batish
form?
Like,
they did a pretty good job capturing movement for those scenes.
And I think the CG was done pretty well for those. Maybe that's where the whole budget was spent, was on those wives and them becoming bats. But I loved it. I like they have Dr. Frankenstein, they have Frankenstein's monster, they have werewolves, obviously they have Dracula. They just include like a lot of those like classic spooky season things. So it's kind of the perfect spooky season movie.
Yeah, it's like I think that's the kind of spooky season movie I like more than like just like scary movies where it's like The Conjuring or Halloween or someone's just like being murdered.
Really big right now.
Yeah, so like I like some of the more classic Halloween type stuff, witches with warts and brooms and brewing potions and then vampires and werewolves and like all the stuff you see at Spirit Halloween for all those years. Like it's timeless, really.
That couldn't be better said. Those things are timeless for Halloween. I know that people, we should probably like these because they're newer. I just don't really care for them. Like the Jason, the Freddy, the Michael Myers. First of all, I think Michael Myers is kind of a boring movie, but like that's not what I want around Halloween, honestly.
Maybe we're a little higher class, babe, because
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I'm just saying, hear me out. Those are Halloween created, or not Halloween. Jeez Louise. Hollywood created monsters.
Yes, that's true.
Whereas like the classics, those are like literature, so we are bit classier.
I like that. I like how you put that angle in there. Now you're turning me around on this.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
well, speaking of having like a higher taste for culture and media, I asked you to think about games with great artwork that you really loved, because that's, we're making a game. These are things that we need to think about. Just as if you're writing a book or even painting a picture, you would think of ones that you love, and you maybe try and emulate that. You maybe try and do your own thing, but it's good to think about these things. And when I was coming up with my list, you pointed out that I was just saying games with really good visuals and really good computer graphics. So I honestly don't think that I am good at this list making part, but like, WoW, when you are cresting over the hill from like Terakar Forest into Nagrand, I loved that artwork style that they had for Nagrand. And then like Ghost of Tsushima, Black Myth, Wukong, Witcher 2, you said the costuming you really loved. But these are games with like just really good graphics. So what's a game where you really appreciate the artwork? And I know a lot of people love Zelda.
Yeah, actually, that might be a point of controversy for some listeners, is that I don't actually like that. I didn't like Breath of the Wild. I never played Tears of the Kingdom either. And I also don't really like the art style,
It's fine. It's just like, it's not my favorite, but I like recognize it's done really well.
Yeah,
but it's just
it
not
is
gonna
executed
make a
really
list
well.
For me.
It does exactly what it sets out to do. And a lot of people like that, and I respect that. It's just not in my wheelhouse of interests. I think there was not an argument, but just like a little like video essay I saw about why games today don't really have like a specific art style.
Oh.
And that's because back in like the early days, like PlayStation 2, what do you got? You got Jak and Daxter, you got Ratchet and Clank, you got the
Crash Bandicoot.
You got Crash Bandicoot and like the raccoon thief guy. These are very particular art styles that they had to come up with because the technology didn't allow for high level graphics like realism. A lot of polygons, So it's like you got to make something interesting and unique with the polygons you have available. So I'd say probably that era is where you want to look for art style, because modern day, yeah, a lot of games have good art style, especially now. I think the rise of indie games are really taking over.
Agree.
Like Hollow Knight is something you mentioned.
That's like the one game that I can say, here's an art style that is not just good computer graphics, because it's really not that elevated as far as like pushing computer graphics as far as they can go, but the art style and the way they draw the knight is just really cool to me. I really like it, and I also really love the lore of that game, but that's like a whole other kind of different thing.
I have not played Hollow Knight.
I haven't played. I've just watched a lot of other people's gameplay, and I'll pause, I'll read the screen, I'll like.
This woman watches so much video game gameplay.
It saves me a lot of money, TBH.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I get to imbibe a lot of stories by just watching the game, and then I can fast forward. And I also save myself a ton of frustration at things that I would suck at, game mechanics, and I can just like fast forward past it.
Yeah, and so I think going back to the art style, like Binding of Isaac's another good example of a modern day game that, Bro Tato is a Godot game that's really popular. It's just a roguelike shoot 'em up, but like it's got a very fun, unique art style. So I'm not saying that art styles don't exist, but what we typically play are realism graphics type games. The Witcher, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima, even like
so
that.
Beautiful.
That's such a beautiful game, and they do have an art style that I think is really centric around colors and nature, which I appreciate. But like again, like these are we're really impressed by these games because of the realistic graphics.
Yeah.
And I guess that's something that we really need to experience more. I think probably is more like indie type games, like instead of these like AAA like beautiful games. I do enjoy some, but not any I can really think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's none that rise to the level of the enjoyment I get out of Red Dead 2 per se. Like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I think to have game development go well, I need to, at least from my perspective, if you want to do something well, you should probably know the history of that thing, at least a little bit. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like writers who don't read books. I think their writing usually suffers greatly for that. And as we're making this game, I don't want our game to suffer because we're not, reading books, quote unquote.
Yeah, and so I mean, I've been trying to spend a little bit more time on games and different art styles. My sister loves Stardew Valley. Like, that's the main game that she loves. So I try it out, but it's just the gameplay for the game is not really for me. But I will say it's been a joy just walking around and looking at the pixel art, because that's exactly kind of the style that we're going for. And it's like top down. I don't know the different terms, but it's really cool to see the movement and animation in that regard. Sound effects are going to be really important for that kind of game. Terraria comes to mind. Like, sound effects do it for you.
Oh,
Terraria.
Yeah. Sound is huge for me. Foley is life.
You put the pickaxe on the rock, and you're like, that is such a satisfying noise. And so you just do it.
Some of my favorite things about WoW are the different sounds and the voice acting. Like,
oh yeah,
there's a lot of things that WoW probably
Dark Lady, watch over you.
Exactly. Watch your back. So there's so many things that WoW just like doesn't do well, but like that's one of the things that they definitely knock out of the park. And also, it's really fun for me when I'm looking up on IMDb all the voice actors from whatever dub we're watching, and to see that they have different like additional characters in their background for WoW is so fun for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
They just pick up everybody and do random lines and stuff, and I love that. Yeah, voice acting can be such an addition to the game. Like, look at the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games. Like,
oh yeah, we've talked about how great Kreia was.
Kreia's, the voice acting for Kreia was great. And then like other characters in that game are really good too. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I haven't played it for a while, but yeah. Because those games like rely on the story and the voice acting. So, yeah, I think that'll be something that we're going to have to cross the bridge at some point for those.
And I think it'll be really fun once we do that.
Yes.
One thing I'm also looking for in the games that I'm going to be trying out as study materials for making our games is if I can play them on the Steam Deck, because that makes it a lot easier for me to play a game, is if I can like do it while also having to take care of the kid or like watch the kid a little bit. I can pop into a world, pop out. I don't know how feasible it is for us to create a Steam Deck playable game.
I think it's pretty feasible. Like, it's just basically just button mapping, okay. I believe. But I mean, perhaps you have to make it playable in the sense of like, also has to work on Linux, because that's the Steam Deck operating system. So you got to make sure it works on that. So I'm sure there will be some testing on that. We'll definitely approach that when we have more of a end product for PC. Yeah. But
I was just surprised that certain games that I love playing, like Paladins, is not on, or it's not verified Steam great.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder if it's actually a little harder.
Right, because there aren't any, this buttons that you need for Paladins is not such that it should not be playable on the Steam very easily.
Yeah, and then games like Age of Empires 2 is Steam Deck verified. Like, I couldn't even imagine playing a competitive Age of Empires game on a Steam Deck. Like, there's no way. It would have to be casual. And I guess maybe I should look that up and watch some gameplay, because maybe there's some sweats.
Yeah.
But there are, like, I had mentioned not too long ago, Brotato. That's a Godot game, Steam Deck verified. It has an art style. Like, maybe I should get that. It's $5, so like get that. Do some research. Vampire Survivors is another one. That's just another roguelike shoot 'em up.
Is Brotato? I think you showed me some Brotato.
Yeah, it's just like a potato guy who uses like 6 guns to shoot incoming monsters. So
yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check out Stardew Valley. Never had a single ounce of interest in playing a game like that, especially when things like, not that they're at all the same, but to me in my mind, I'm a person that plays Rockstar games. Why would I be also the person that plays Stardew Valley? They seem like oceans apart, but maybe that's just like my judgments and
I mean, the rise of like Animal Farm and all that. I think that was during the pandemic.
Never played that either.
Yeah, like cozy games. I love the idea of a cozy game, but outside of Minecraft and maybe even Terraria, like I don't play them very much.
I don't even know how cozy game just means one thing, because you can bet your sweet ace that Red Dead 2 is cozy to me. When I'm like,
oh yeah, like Hogwarts Legacy too.
Yeah, riding at dusk, riding at dawn, going hunting, or like
I think we like
immersion. Yeah, exactly.
Immersion is really important to us, and I think that's something that lacks in some of these other smaller games.
Yeah, very possible.
So we have a lot to learn when it comes to changing our complete like interest genre, because that is what we will create, and we have to do a good job. And we want to create something fun that I even want to play.
I mean, I think everyone does want to, but so few people succeed. So few, even major game studios succeed. But imagine making a game that people are playing 20 years from now.
Like WoW's 20 years.
Like WoW's 20th anniversary is right now, and I've been playing for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It is. It's really wild to think about. I have not been playing for 20 years. I started in Wrath of the Lich King. But just knowing that it's been around that long, and like, I mean, 15 years, I think, is what I've been playing. So that's no small amount of time either.
It's,
People have built their lives around World of Warcraft at this point. YouTube content creators.
Oh yeah, like even their professional
competitive
lives.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
not just us, where we've built kind of like our personalities around playing.
We're super casual in the game. Actually, we don't even do Mythic or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
I probably haven't been.
We just love it.
A sweat since Lich King.
But we're immersed in the world.
Yeah, very invested in the events that are happening, and I haven't really gotten to play that much recently. That's just kind of the reality of parent, wife, employee of a company. So this 20th anniversary though is getting me so excited about kind of the opportunities that are available that I'm getting back in.
We're gonna
full-fledged.
Definitely 100%. I've been checking out the 20th anniversary stuff, and I gotta say my main objective is to get those sweet tier 2 sets.
Yes.
Judgment armor.
What's your favorite one? Is it the Paladin one? I know you
Paladin.
saw the monk one was pretty nice.
Yeah, because they obviously didn't have these other classes 20 years ago. They kind of created a makeshift tier 2, I guess. And I love them. Like, the Death Knight one's really good. The monk one is really good.
Is so great.
Yeah.
I wish the priest one, because priest is my main, I wish I liked it more.
Yeah.
But that's just not my favorite set.
It's not the best priest. And, like, that's not to say priests don't have some of the best sets in the game.
For sure.
And unlucky that that's not one of them.
I'm sure it'll be coming. Like, if the way that Blizz is running now is kind of like really pulling on those nostalgia strings.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come around.
Yeah. Judgment armor, though, so glad to have it. I never did the grind for the old ones, and also getting like updated resolution and all that is going to be really great. So I'm working on that currently on WoW.
I like achievements. I know they're stupid in many cases, but I like achievements. It's one of the things I like spending time doing. So I'll probably get myself a few achieves.
Oh yeah, there's plenty to be had.
I'm gonna sit down in front of the storyteller and just hear a good story or few.
Oh yeah, Lore Walker
Cho.
Yeah, that's part of the event, and it's pretty fun. Doing the mount up competition to see what mounts you got. I mean, I really don't have that many mounts.
I don't either,
especially compared to other people. But there were I did it once, and there were a couple that was like, nice, I have that, and other people don't. Like, that's pretty cool. I don't know what my rarest mount that I have is. Probably the Headless Horseman's mount, but like not really.
I don't think I don't think I have that many rare mounts, especially back in the day when you could like if guilds were still using dragon kill points, or if they had some other type of currency for like trading mounts if you got one, or if that was even possible. Like when it wasn't possible, I just like never got one. Like if it dropped, it just like wasn't coming to me, and no one was going to let me run a billion times with them to get things. I feel like I'm always the last person to get something. If it drops, everyone else gets it, and then they're like, I don't want to do it anymore, and it's like, okay, well, whatever.
I don't know. We did, if you remember that old Karazhan raid, and we did the thing to get the Ember Worm.
Yeah.
And you got the roll on that one, and I was like,
that's true. I guess the stings of my losses are so much greater than like the thrill of my victories, because I didn't remember that at all. But that was a good time.
That was a good time. I love Karazhan.
Love
the
it.
Vibes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great.
Being tiny.
That was back when we played together.
Yeah.
Now we don't have time.
No, we don't. I mean, one person like has to be eyes on child. So
yeah,
that's life now.
But in times like these, where the kid is asleep,
yeah, and we can like record an episode. We do that.
Maybe we play while we record.
There'd be so many pauses to cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about? This may come out of left field for you, but what do you think about Xal'atath's feet?
Oh my god.
It's a pretty hot topic in WoW these days.
It is taking the WoW world by storm.
Yeah.
I got War Within early access, so I was privy to witnessing Xal'atath's feet at the very beginning. I think it's hilarious. I really do. I think it's so funny that people are like latching on. Like you go onto Reddit and like anything posted about Xal'atath, and it's like, where's the feet? Like,
all YouTube thumbnails are like close-ups on feet. There's the one video that we watched the other day where he has like a framed picture of her feet in the background.
Picture of Xal'atath's feet.
I've never seen
in the world
feet
is
so much
going on in this.
What came first? I would love to know what came first. House of Dragons, those foot scenes, or Blizz doing these foot scenes? Like, who was in production first? Who was inspired by who? Or did both of these feet things just happen in a vacuum because like people are talking about how much they like feet now?
This is just probably such an in-depth topic because it goes beyond Game of Thrones or World of Warcraft. Like, there are some real people who are real fanatical
feet
about it.
Feet are so hot right now. But why? I just don't know. Like, I don't want to kink shame unless kink shaming is your kink. But seriously, I don't know. I just don't know why. It came out of like nowhere for me, at least.
Yeah, I don't remember it being any sort of thing when we were younger, high school. Beyond that, like it's probably maybe it's just coming to light into like the public domain.
Yeah.
But recently, I think probably like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
People have been talking about like.
For me, it's even more recent though. It's like in the last year, I heard on my favorite podcast, Tell 'em Steve Dave, they're talking about Q's feet and how his feet are in like Feetpedia or whatever it's called. And then that's just like, okay, I hear about Q's feet. Okay, now someone in House of Dragons is like doing things to like looking at someone else's feet, and then now Xal'atath's feet. It's just like, what is going on? When did we as a society decide feet?
I wonder, like the rise of like personal content creation, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, like OnlyFans?
Yeah, I'm thinking at some point, girls mostly probably figured out that they don't have to do the most explicit content. They could just do their feet, and holy cow, people are watching.
It's probably
and
true.
Paying for that stuff.
Like the VHS, like the DVD, both of these inventions were solidified as the main form of that kind of content for its time because of the porn industry. And so what you're saying is, it's happened again right before our eyes. OnlyFans has solidified that feet are
digital
now a thing.
platform, like everybody's feet is available for viewing.
I mean, not mine.
Well, I mean everybody on there.
Yeah.
But, and if it's monetarily motivated, you know?
Yeah, that's always
now
monetary.
that begs the question: is this a calculated move by Blizzard to get feet lovers to buy War Within?
I mean, I guess anything to get that sweet $15 a month, but
I'm just that's curious. But I just think it would have been so easy. Maybe not, because sometimes Blizz's armor concepts are not that good. But
especially the shoes and boots can be a little clunky.
It would be so easy though to like put like slippers on Xal'atath. You know, that would be the same. But I definitely the fandom would not have latched on to Xal'atath so easily. I think if those sweet purple toesies were covered. That's wild. Yeah, we'll see how this develops. We'll see if Blizzard leans into it, which they seem to be, because all the new cinematics that come out, they keep showing her feet. And or if they're like, this is not the result that we wanted. Cover those babies up.
Because the reason I think it's strange is because they're like, no, straight to horny jail, everyone who liked the old Alexstrasza character model.
That's a good point. Alexstrasza, Sylvanas, they were pretty revealing.
I just liked those costumes. I thought they were beautiful.
I mean,
I'm sure, yes.
Yeah,
other people like them for other reasons. I'm aware.
But then they covered them all up, and everybody threw a fit about it, and then they do
and
this.
Then they do this. That's why I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
I'm confused.
I'm so confused. You can't say one is bad and then the other is just perfectly fine, or even like really promote the feet and then hide the people that are just wearing bikinis. Essentially, Alexstrasza has hips. We shouldn't be ashamed that she has hips. I have hips. Like, people have hips out here, okay?
And hips don't lie.
Gosh, okay. We're moving on to a next topic. I guess I wrote this down because I just thought it was like, we were just like kind of going through it in an unfun way. But like, is your romantic life a sore subject for you right now?
What are you talking about?
Like, you know, because we have a young person in our household that we have to make sure stays alive, and it doesn't leave much time for romance. We have literally not been on a date in like over a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, we have not really had romantic moments of like dates and like a candlelit dinner and stuff like that. If we try to do that at home, it's going to get its hand on the candle and burn the house down. No, that's a joke. We keep it in a safe place, but yeah, like we have not had one-on-one time. I think we did have one date, and that was putting in the gym daycare and sharing a smoothie in the cafe, in the gym.
Yeah,
Like,
our one
that was
date.
That was our one-on-one date.
Yeah, it was the kid going, and we just couldn't leave the premises because that's how it works. So that's that was it.
So, I mean, yeah, I would like to have more romance in that regard and more one-on-one time. So, it's
How
a
do
struggle.
we accomplish that though?
Yeah.
It's anyone's guess. And I know a lot of people like have a family that they can have watch their child, or they pay for daycare and send them there all day, or they have a babysitter that they trust. We have none of those things. So
Yeah.
in a bit of a pickle.
It's been all us from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Even when we had family nearby, it just did not work out how we thought it would.
To put it mildly.
That's just how the cards you're dealt, you know? You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when does when does the age start where they go to school?
You know what? That's a good question, because I see on Reddit so many different, like, oh, they're starting preschool. And, like, for me, I thought preschool was, like, what, 5? But now I'm seeing, like, 4, 3. Like,
no, 3 seems too early.
Right? Like, what is pre... I know it's a nebulous time because, like, it just means before school, literally, but...
What we need to do is make some friends with other couples who have kids so we can,
that we
like,
trust.
Yeah, that we trust. That's the tough part. And then we can take Wyatt over to there and go on a freaking date, share some tapas.
Yeah, I mean, share some tapas, catch a movie. Like
yeah.
Like some things that we haven't done in a long time. Well,
that's a struggle. I got friends who, you know, are considering kids, and I try to convey to them, hey, you're gonna do a lot less intimate things through
just
this
in general,
experience.
Do everything that you wanted to do now, because once there is a human being around, you're not going to be doing those things anymore.
Yeah.
At least for a while. I hear people say once they turn 2, 3, 4, it gets better. So I'm just waiting for those years to come around.
Yeah, I mean, we are trying to enjoy this current time.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a little bit of
great.
Yeah, he's great. He's fun, goofy, cute. Sometimes though can be really, really challenging.
He is a sleep terrorist.
Yeah, we are not even at the 2s, which I've known as the terrible 2s. So I'm like, if that's the terrible 2s, what are we in right now?
The really unfun ones.
Oh, I mean, there's just ups and downs, of course, but yeah, it's definitely difficult to not have any time. Like, the only time we have to ourselves is when we're at the gym.
Yeah.
Really.
And it's massively different because we used to just do everything just you and I, and we did whatever we wanted.
Oh, yeah.
So, massive change there. Tell me what you are going to hold yourself accountable to doing for the game in this next week.
Okay, well, let's start with what I was supposed to be accountable this week, which is try my hand at creating a small animation. I also want to implement sound effects. Nice. And then, ultimately, this might be ambitious, but I want to create a first level, like art, sounds. Like, I want that prototype to be there so that we can really, like, build off of that.
I think that's smart. I think that's going to get us really far to have, like, that structure where we can not so much rinse and repeat, but kind of, like,
just like
paste,
something
adjust,
to build
copy,
off
paste,
of.
Adjust, yeah.
Because right now I'm still like implementing stuff that I want to learn on an old tutorial video game that I created, and so I think it'll just be easier for us to like further the vision if we have a prototype, because we can be like, no, I don't like this, or yeah, I like this. Let's do that more. So I think really honestly that wouldn't be the hardest task to create a level 1. I just need to hold myself in front of the computer for, I would say just probably a couple hours, and I could probably get something whipped up. Will it be perfect? No. But it'll be something that we can start at.
Don't forget to screen record, because what I need to do is I need to get all of our materials, like the podcast, the videos, the screen recordings, the audio files, get them all together in an organized place. And then I need to start cutting devlog videos for YouTube. I need to cut and release this episode of the podcast. I'm still working on a blog for the website, so I have a few things that I need to do marketing wise. While it's still, I say that this at work all the time, it's still very early days in our journey, but it's really important to like what you're doing, the foundation of level 1. I think it's really important to get the foundation of marketing done, because it's really easy to keep doing once you start doing it.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got to give ourselves a little pat on the back, little kudos that we're doing these podcasts and you're editing them and posting them. Like, we could very easily have taken this time while snapping to do something else, you know? Yeah. So
eat lunch.
We're doing it. So yeah, I think those are achievable goals.
Oh, well, go Team Venture.
Go Team Venture.
That's gonna be the name of episode 2. Or should it be Go Team Venture, or should it be Xal'atath's Feet?
Well, that might be good for SEO.
Go Team Xal'atath's Feet. It is decided. Right, we'll see you guys next week. Gosh. This is Akeia.
This is Tennyson. Thank you so much for listening.
Yep. Bye.